Welcome to the KPC Smart Money Podcast with Kevin and Karen Christ. Well, it's getting to be that time, Kevin, where kids are going to be on summer vacation.
They just got off the spring break.
And they're going to be wondering what mom and dad or grandma and grandpa are going to do with them to keep them busy during the summer. So we thought it would be fun to throw out some ideas. Certainly not an all-inclusive list. There are thousands and thousands of ideas, but we thought we would have fun talking about some of the things we did in childhood or some of the things that sounded fun. So whether you are parents or grandparents, tuck some of these ideas away so you will know how to fill your days when your kids are out of school.
Hey, did you ever make fresh lemonade?
Yeah.
How do you do it?
Well, it takes a lot of work. It'll tire your kids out. You got to take the lemons and you have
That's
to...
the idea.
Yeah, you get the squeezer and then you squeeze them all, and then getting the sugar right's a little bit tough because it does require a fair amount of sugar.
Right.
And then you get so the fresh pulp and juice from the lemon, put some water in it, put some sugar in it, and then go throw a card table, then a cloth out in your front yard, and hey, make it a lemonade stand. Make some money while you're at it.
So once you get them all sugared up on the lemonade, right?
Then make them some homemade ice cream.
You go make them, get them all sugared up, and then send them back home to their parents.
There you go.
Right?
There you go.
See, for your grandparents. But no, what you can do once they get all sugared up, one of my favorite things to do in the summertime?
What?
Slip and slide.
Oh, yeah.
It's the cheapest, I know it had to be cheap because my parents bought one. My dad, I know he doesn't listen to these podcasts. No, he's listened to a couple of them. But anyway, the slip and slide is good, cheap fun, right?
It's just a sprinkler. The good old-fashioned sprinklers. When you were a kid, you just ran through them and had a blast. Hey, our grandpuppies love it. I actually stuck a hose to the top of my regular slide in the kids' fort when they were young, and we made kind of our own slip and slide, put one of those small cheap plastic pools down at the bottom, and the kids would slide down the water and just land in the pool.
Hey, so while we're on the idea of utilizing and wasting water, how about water balloon fights? I loved water balloon fights.
Yes.
And you know what?
Squirt guns.
What kid doesn't? Yeah. Squirt gun fight. You have water balloons and squirt guns, and that ought to keep them busy for a while.
That ought to keep them cooled off if it's a hot day. Absolutely.
The hard part about water balloon fights is having enough water balloons to start. Right?
Well, it takes a while to fill them all up, and you can go through them in no time.
Really quick.
Well, what's other bummers? You got to pick up all the little balloon things. So squirt guns are actually
better.
You
like that idea better?
Squirt guns are better.
I love a good water balloon fight.
Well, and there's lots of things you can do outside. I mean, just, go on nature walks, go biking on trails, go rock hunting. I used to have a rock polishing kit. I would go and collect all these rocks, and then I'd stick them in the rock polisher. It was like a little cement tumbler, and it would tumble them with these cleaners and stuff, and then you could polish them up. It was a blast.
Yeah. So here's one that's probably not going to be a big hit when you talk to your kids and your grandkids, but something I think every one of them should do, and that's visit a nursing home. I remember going to visit my great-grandmother and before she died, and she had a roommate. She was in a place where they had a roommate, and the roommate hadn't had a visitor in 16 years. That the family just stopped coming, and she was in there 16 years. Do you know how happy she was that we would, when we went to visit, we would talk to her and get her involved in the conversation. And so, sometimes churches will have Christmas carols at nursing homes, and they'll have little programs. I know in some assisted living places, there's people that will bring dogs by for the people to pet.
Well, basically, I think what you're getting at is, acts of kindness.
Yes.
And those acts of kindness can be random acts of kindness, or they can be very intentional acts of kindness. What about just baking cookies for your neighbor? One other idea, write a soldier a letter because they're away from home in tough situations. So that's another way you can just teach your kids kindness. And, Kevin, don't you get just as much out of it when you're kind to somebody as the person on the receiving end?
Yeah, Karen, the last couple of podcasts we did, or a few podcasts ago, we talked about, going on mission trips to Ecuador and Cuba. And the truth is, and everybody who's ever been on one says the same thing. I think I got more out of it than they did.
Yeah.
Right? So when you go visit that nursing home, or you do a random act of kindness, or you make your neighbor some cookies, think about your kids or your grandkids making cookies and then giving them away to the neighbor, how that makes you feel.
Now, when I was young, my uncle was in the Vietnam War, and I remember clearly once a month we would bake his favorite cookies. Mom would pack them all up in shoe boxes, and we would mail them to him. I don't know how long it took to get to him, but he loved them. He had to hide him because everybody wanted to raid him. But every month we sent my uncle, when he was in Vietnam, cookies, homemade cookies. And again, it was something. It was a great memory. Now, what if you're stuck inside? I mean, there's so many things that you can do outside, but what if you're stuck inside? It's a rainy day or it's too hot or something.
There's family game time. Even with our adult kids, I know what Rachel, used to come over and we'd play different board games. We played Clue, and you get a lot of laughs out of that. There's a lot of, family. We don't do enough sometimes with our own family. Everybody's so busy all the time. And, for you, those of you who are grandparents, playing like simple board games with young kids, the board games like Parcheesi, right? That do they even still have Parcheesi?
I don't know, but you can make it simple too. I mean, like, how about paper bag puppets for the younger kids? They just love it. It doesn't have to cost much. You can get a paper bag. It's got the perfect little fold in it. They can, they can each make their own different faces on it. And this one's good. Making your own homemade slime or Play-Doh.
Have you ever done that?
Oh yeah, yeah. It's fun. Or make your own homemade Play-Doh, and you probably have everything you need already in your house. You don't need to go buy anything. It's a blast, and we used to have time where we would read over the summer. Even when we were in elementary school, my mom reads constantly. So we grew up reading over the summer, just picking a good book. And it was fun. And it was educational, but it wasn't homework,
Yeah. Well, let's talk about, when it's not raining or you're not, because a lot of parents complain all their kids want to do is play video games and watch TV.
Turn them off.
Obesity is a problem for kids in our country. Buy them a Frisbee. What does a Frisbee cost? A couple of bucks?
Yeah.
Learn to throw a Frisbee. I want to tell you what, I grew up in Florida. We used to throw Frisbee on the beach for hours. It's good. It's good exercise. And there's a talent to it, believe it or not. They have Frisbee golf and all that.
What's the hacky sacks? There's all kinds of fun outdoor that are cheap and help you coordinate. Or we have stories in our family about sidewalk chalk. Sidewalk chalk. They had fun. They made drawings. It was good for even learning the alphabet.
Hopscotch.
Hopscotch is a blast
with chalk.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, good old fashioned jump rope. Like the doubles. Pretty hard, actually.
Yeah.
That's a good outdoor game. So we cannot close this without you talking about what you still do with our kids. What do you do when the music starts playing?
Sing and dance and do
ice cream truck.
Oh!
Come on, you still do it.
Oh, well, that's because that's got nothing to do with the kids. I listen, but during the summertime when the ice cream truck comes, man,
everybody goes on high alert, grabs cash, and runs out the door.
It's funny when you want me to do something I can't hear. but I can hear the ice cream truck. I can hear I can hear the ice cream truck bells from a mile away.
Right.
Yeah, right.
So,
running after the ice cream truck in the summertime.
Yeah, that's healthy, right? You're running.
Yes, that's right.
Well, there are again so many ideas, but have the ideas put together before the kids or the grandkids are there. Before to me, I hate it when everybody's looking around at each other, bored, going, "What are we gonna do?" Be intentional.
Water balloon fight.
Yeah, be intentional. Get the supplies. Make the plans. Pick the day. Your kids and your grandkids will have fun and have great memories, and you will be keeping them busy. And to Kevin's point, get them off the games. There's
You're going to be the most fun grandma ever, aren't you?
Maybe we'll see. I will be intentional about it, though. Okay. All right. So, thank you for listening to KPC Smart Money Podcast with Kevin and Karen Christ, and be blessed until we talk to you again next week.
You've been listening to the KPC Smart Money Podcast with Kevin and Karen Christ. To listen to more episodes, visit kpcsmartmoney.com. You can also find the KPC Smart Money Podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Spotify, and Stitcher.
KPC Financial Solutions is an independent financial services firm that utilizes a variety of investment and insurance products. Investment advisory services offered only by duly registered individuals through KPC Financial Solutions, LLC, a registered investment company. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal. Any reference to protection, safety, or lifetime income generally refer to fixed insurance products, never securities or investments. Insurance guarantees are backed by the financial strength and claims-paying ability of the issuing carrier. This podcast is intended for informational purposes only. It is not intended to be used as the sole basis for financial decisions, nor should be construed as advice designed to meet the particular needs of an individual's situation. KPC Financial Solutions is not permitted to offer, and no statement made during the show shall constitute tax or legal advice. Our firm is not affiliated with or endorsed by the U.S. government or any governmental agency. The information and opinions contained herein provided by third parties have been obtained from sources believed to be reliable, but accuracy and completeness cannot be guaranteed by KPC Financial Solutions. Hypothetical examples have been provided for illustrative purposes only. It does not represent a real-life scenario and should not be construed as advice designed to meet the particular needs of an individual's situation.